Speaking of failures, there's a lot of talk these days about allowing your employees to fail to ultimately be successful. What are some of the failures that these three men that stand out as learning for people?
Well, they all made big mistakes. And throughout the book, we talk about many, many big mistakes. But let me give you maybe an example, one for each of them. Obviously, Bill Gates' biggest mistake was he was very late to the internet. He tried to build a completely proprietary AOL-like system at a time in which the internet was taking off. And had he stuck with that route, he would have been irrelevant by the end of the 1990s. But by 1995, which was not late, but not early, he figured it out and changed directions. Steve Jobs would be another classic example. He made maybe more mistakes than all the others. Really? It's hard to imagine this at the time, but he was dead set against making the iPod available for Windows. He wanted to be only available for the Macintosh. Had he kept that, the Macintosh's market share today is maybe 6, maybe 7% of the market. The iPod is about 70% of the market. So he would have given up 70 or 80% of the business that he ultimately was able to get if he hadn't been convinced by his staff to change directions. In the case of Andy Grove, I think we talk about a lot of mistakes for Andy. He made a huge mistake at one point in the mid-1990s when a flaw was found in the Pentium processor, and he absolutely refused to acknowledge it, and the world was in uproar over it. It almost destroyed the company in some ways. And again, eventually, in that case, meaning a couple of weeks, he changed direction and apologized and wrote off $500 million and said we made a mistake. And those are all big examples of big mistakes they made, and we talk about a lot of others in the book.